Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
What an incredible show we have for you today. Just a few minutes ago, I was talking about the horrible incident that happened in Germany with the entire circus, all succumbing to the cold weather. And, of course, it was a flea circus, of course. And if you missed that, I'm sorry. I'll put that up on the website for those of you that are just tuning in right now. I wanted to point out, because both Joey and Alan didn't believe there's such thing as flea circus. Did you, Judy? Did you even believe there was such thing as a flea circus?
No, I thought it was a joke.
Of course, I Googled it, and there are some amazing pictures of flea circuses. This one right here of a flea jumping through a ring, like a wedding ring.
Little hoop.
And I'm going to hold it up to the microphone so you can see that.
I mean, come on. How do you train a flea?
They're not easy to train, and in fact,
they're natural jumpers, though.
They are natural jumpers. We were thinking of adding a flea trainer to the dream team, but
we should.
We don't
do it, Alan. Come on.
Oh yeah, I can train a flea to get to take a vacation from hell.
Let's see, Stacy, what do you got going on there?
You know, they tell you don't leave your kids in the car, especially with the windows rolled up. Don't leave your dog in the car, especially with the windows rolled up. And don't leave your car running with your dog in the car, because your dog could put it in reverse and run over somebody. That's exactly what happened. I'll tell you about it coming up on Animal Radio News.
I'll bet he did it on purpose.
I'm going to stick around for that. Let's take a call for Alan Cable right now. Hey, Sherry.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay. A little worried about my little dog.
What's up?
Well, I've got a little Yorkshire Terrier. We've had her since she was a pup. And she was very playful, very runaround, wasn't frightened of pretty much anything. I got her fixed after she was about 6 months old, and it seemed to change. I wouldn't say because of getting her fixed as far as the hormones were concerned, but it seemed to change the moment I picked her up. She's now frightened. She shivers all the time, and she is now 3.5. So this has been going on for quite a few years, and it's just gotten to the point now where it's worse. She's frightened of every single noise. She now hides under the bed. She's just scared of everything, and she's just not having the quality of life I want her to have anymore.
Good for you, Sherry, that you care so much, sweetie. And, I'm so glad you called. First of all, when your dog gets afraid, you probably feel really sorry for her, don't you?
Oh, immediately.
Immediately. So the first thing you have to do, Sherry, is you have to work on yourself. And it all starts with you. That's my new expression. It all starts with you. And what I mean by that is when dogs sense that you're afraid, it makes them more afraid because they think they have something to actually be afraid of. So you're going to have to gather up your strength and confidence. You're going to have to help your dog face his fear. And the way you do that is with consistency, but also gradually. So if your dog, let's say, is afraid of any noise, what you want to do is figure out what noises your dog isn't afraid of, okay? And spend time around those noises. And you want to distract your dog whenever your dog starts to go to that fearful place. So let's say you're walking past a heat pump in the street. Your dog's fine. All of a sudden the heat pump jumps on, and you see your dog is getting afraid. You want to give her a little tap, just a little tap on the side of the head, like a little, hey, and snap her out of it. And then keep walking through the fear. And when it happens in the house, you want to give her a treat. As soon as you distract her and the fear is gone, you give her a treat and go, good dog. She'll start to learn to associate each sound with a good thing instead of a bad thing. And she'll also feed off of your confidence. I helped a guy a couple weeks ago with thunderstorms. His dog's terrified of thunderstorms. So what we did was, we were lucky because we had a thunderstorm. We just walked outside, and we stood there next to the dog, all calm. I prepared him mentally. You just got to be calm. You're going to relax your shoulders, relax your arm, and you're just going to stand out there with your dog and enjoy the thunderstorm, and then actually take a walk in the thunderstorm, because dogs love to walk. So the dog starts to associate the noise of the thunderstorm with, hey, this is really a good thing. We're taking a walk. And as soon as he started to relax and he understood, the owner, that his fear was actually going into his dog, dog, transcending and going down the leash into his dog. And he started to calm down. His dog started to calm down. So one at a time, you're gonna have your dog face her fear, and you're gonna create a safe spot in the house. So you notice where your dog runs when there is noise under the bed. Put her crate by the bed so she can run in that. And as soon as you start to see that she's not afraid, it's going to take time, Sherry. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to be calm. You've got to help your dog face her fear and move her through it. So an example would be if your dog is afraid of an air conditioner that's in your neighborhood, you're actually going to walk past that thing every day, and you're going to start to walk closer to it over time as she starts to lose the fear until you're right next to it. And she's just sitting there, and you're going to give her a treat. So in that way, over time, she's going to lose her fear, but you got to stop feeling sorry for her. You've got to stop doing that. Okay. You can't pick her up when she's afraid. Don't stop
holding her in the car and make her stay in her crate. And
absolutely, holding her every time a human. This is so good that you brought that up, because when a human being picks a dog up or holds a dog when they're afraid, what does it do? It reinforces the fear. It tells the dog, yeah, you should be afraid, and yeah, I'm going to comfort you. I'm afraid too. That's what you're doing. You've got to change your energy. You've got to be calm, confident, assertive, and unafraid, and just ignore her fear. And as soon as she calms down, that's when you reward her. So let's say you're driving in the car, she's whimpering, you're paying no attention. Maybe the third, fourth time, she's in that crate, and she's like being calm and quiet. You go, good girl, and you give her a treat. Good dog. You reward her when she's calm, you pay no attention to her when she's afraid, and then you expose her to the fears gradually over time, slowly, but you put yourself in a confident frame of mind first before you do it, and always reward the calm behavior and ignore the afraid, scared behavior, but be a rock. Be calm and confident, stand next to her, show her there's nothing to be afraid of, Cher.
Okay. I'll do that. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for your call, Sherry.
You're so welcome.
I love listeners like that, Alan. I don't know about you, but they ask good.
She's a smart, sweet lady. Well, you know what? All of our listeners are fantastic, and they all want to help. The biggest problem is it all starts with you and people understanding that dogs don't have human emotions. And when we try to give human emotions to dogs, we get into all kinds of trouble.
People should have to take a test to be a pet owner. You know what I'm saying? And be able to understand all of this. And it would make it better for everybody if they were able to. I know there's no book on parenting, but it seems like parenting is sometimes easier.
There's so many books on dog behavior that before anybody listening, before you go out and get a dog, before you go out and get a puppy, put a lot of thought into it. It's not like buying a steak or a cup of coffee or a sweater. You're bringing home a living thing. So you want to learn, okay, what kind of energy do I want from my dog? Do I want a playful, crazy dog, manic dog? Do I want a calm dog? Do I want a big dog or a small dog? Do I want a worker dog or a dog who's, bred just to lay around a lot? So you got to put a lot of thought into that. Do I want a dog that loves people, or do I want a dog who's aloof like a chow? And so dog behavior, there's so much information on the internet that will teach you how dogs look at the world. And when you learn that, when you start to see that and ingest that stuff and stop humanizing your dog, you're going to be a great dog owner. It doesn't mean you can't give a dog affection. It just means dogs see affection differently than people do. Affection for a dog, you know what affection for a dog is? You're taking your dog for a walk on the leash, he's behaving, he's being good, and then you let him off the leash. That's affection. And when a dog
the only
is
thing that I've noticed about dog behavior books is there's a lot of contradictions.
That's true.
Depending on who wrote them, and they can be confusing. Now, honestly, I mean, your methodology is I agree with 100%, because to me it's common sense.
I'll tell you that if you want to learn dog behavior, just find a mother with its puppies and watch. That's where all my stuff comes from.
Yep.
That's great stuff.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Greetings and salutations on Animal Radio. It's Vinny Penn, your party animal. I want to take a few minutes of your time here to talk about something that I've spotted in my neck of the woods in recent days. My neck of the woods being Connecticut. Actually, where I see this is right before you enter New York. And it's an enormous billboard that I think has been up since before Easter. And basically it has a picture of the most adorable little bunny rabbit you've ever seen in your life. And it has the words, "We're not just Easter presents. We're a lifelong commitment." Now, the only thing missing is a billboard about 100 feet after that one with the word "duh" written on it. What idiot parents out there are bringing a bunny home for their little girl or their little boy for Easter morning and regarding it as no different than a goldfish. Give it a name. Treat it like you would a toy. If it happens to die, we'll bury it in the backyard and have a really touching ceremony that we'll film on the camcorder and we'll watch at your wedding. Oh, look, this is when Dad eulogized Hugo, my beautiful pet rabbit that I stopped playing with 3 days after Easter. Isn't it a given not to give a living creature flippantly to a little child? Never mind the fact that rabbits aren't the easiest pet to maintain in the first place. I mean, you can't just put them on a wheel like you would a hamster. There's a certain diet there. You don't know how many people I know who've done this, and within a week of having this brand new adorable bunny in the backyard, they throw it in a cardboard box in the backyard and are shocked when a fox has eaten it overnight. Nothing like an 11-year-old girl coming out to see her brand new bunny and screaming in horror to find it chewed up, chomped up, spit out, few bones left in the box. Parents have to start using their heads and realizing what is an appropriate gift and what isn't. A Furby is an appropriate Easter gift, not a bunny. Everybody should know not to do. Who's the blame on? The blame is on the parents, and the blame is on the seller. Feel free to give a call in. Am I wrong? Everybody should know bunnies are not gifts, unless their name is Kendra, and you're buying it from a man with a pipe in his mouth. I'm Vinny Penn, Party Animal, Animal Radio.
Don't forget, you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. It's made possible by Fear Free, helping your pets live their happiest, healthiest, fullest lives at home, at the vet, and everywhere in between. Visit them at fearfree.com to find care near you.
Do your dogs go nuts when they hear fireworks or during a bad thunderstorm? It's not their fault. They have sensitive ears. You love your dog, and so do we. That's why we developed a perfect solution for your loved pets by eliminating the harmful noise. It's called Doggy Hush, a unique waterproof set of headphones that go over your dog's ears. They're so comfortable, your dog won't even know they're wearing them. And when this happens, your dog will feel and stay safe and stress-free. Go to doggyhush.com. Enter the promo code we're about to give you for a free special gift. Again, buy Doggy Hush for your dog today and protect your dog's ears from fireworks, thunderstorms, and a lot more harmful noises. Go to doggyhush.com and enter this promo code, Radio4. Radio and the number 4. Go to doggyhush.com right now and enter the promo code Radio4. Again, that's promo code Radio4.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
If you have a Yorkshire Terrier, a Shih Tzu, a Pug, or a Mini Schnauzer, listen up. There is a great ebook that you need to check out called How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend, and it is written by our very own Dr. Debbie. She is a wonderful author, and links to that can be found over at animalradio.com. Is it true you won't take care of fleas there at your office?
No, I will not see fleas. I will not see the spiders, which we've talked about before.
Sure.
So I do have my standards, yeah.
I understand. Let's head to Corey. Hey, Corey, how are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Where are you?
In North Carolina.
I heard that accent. I love that accent. I'm a sucker for southern accents like that. What can we do for you?
Well, I'm trying to see if there's any alternative methods to the problem my dog's been diagnosed with. He started having issues getting up and taking him a minute to sit or lay down, stiffness in the back legs. Took him to a vet. She did x-rays. She ruled out hip dysplasia. She thought it might be his knees when she did an exam. She referred me to a orthopedic vet. Took us about a month to get in there. And in the meantime, he was on Rimadyl, which seemed to help. The orthopedic vet did an exam and basically diagnosed him with cruciate ligament tears in both rear knees.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah, and so, of course, her solution was the TPLO surgery.
Okay, yeah.
Which is $2,200 per knee.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Not something that's very affordable. He's a big dog. He's 115 pounds, and he's half Rot, half Husky.
Okay, wow. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
And the honest truth is the best thing for a dog of that size with both knees affected with the cruciate rupture is surgery of some form. The TPLO is one of a couple different procedures to help that and to provide stabilization in the knee. Because these big dogs are so large and they have so much muscle mass, some of the other techniques aren't as favored. But I'd say, if having the TPLO done is not necessarily an option, you might see if the specialist would consider doing what we call an extracapsular technique. It's not the best choice for a big dog because they can have more problems with it, but it can save you about $1,000 sometimes. So it might be something to do if you're looking as a second choice. The other things that I always mention when we talk about orthopedic problems and kind of being in a dilemma of maybe affording the cost of surgery versus, helping the pet to feel more comfortable. And you mentioned Rimadyl, which is one of a couple different non-steroidal pain relievers that we can use to help them feel better. But for me, I also look at other things. I like to make sure we're in good, healthy weight, because if we're carrying extra weight, that's a lot more for that baby to carry around. And just getting that pet into lean body conditions and sometimes make a huge difference in their mobility, and they may not need those medicines. So that would be one thing. And then also making sure that we're on a good joint supplement. This wouldn't be my first option, but some other thoughts for you would be that I've had some dogs where we've had cruciate injury and we try something as an alternative. Usually it's older pets that, we have other reasons that we're not pursuing surgery, but you can get orthotic splints made for dogs with different types of joint injuries and ligament instabilities. And I've had a couple dogs where we've had basically an orthotic, a movable splint that's made custom fitted for the pet, and it helps to give them stabilization and a little bit of support with that leg. Those aren't cheap either, and you can easily spend for a large dog maybe $300 or $500 for one of these. But that might be an alternative that you can kind of look at and see if that might be a little bit more amenable. And there's orthopets.com and I think woundwear.com are two that I've used here in my office. So those might be some other options. And then, I don't know if you've looked at it, but there are some resources you can even find for helping defer costs. So, if you kind of fill out applications and get approved, there are some good resources that pet owners can look to find care when your pet needs it. And you might just look at the Humane Society's website, the ASPCA's website. There's different, if you just Google how to find help with your vet bills, there's some different resources of non-for-profits that can help with some of these situations where we have a finite and we know we need to have something done. It's going to cost X dollar amounts, and it's going to mean a difference in this pet's life. So that might be something else to look at. Because how old is your baby?
2.
2 years. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, we want to do what we can to keep him as mobile as we can.
What was the first procedure you said?
Extracapsular repair. And that's not where they're putting any kind of hardware in the knee. With the TPLO, they usually put a plate in there to give some stabilization when they're repositioning the knee. The extracapsular is really just where they go in, clean up the knee, and they do some outer stabilizing techniques to help stabilize the knee. But there are some dogs that with really, really strict restriction, weight loss, pain management, and an extracapsular approach, it might be an alternative for you.
Any ideas? He doesn't eat very much. He's down to only want to eat once a day, and sometimes I have to force feed him to get with his medicine because I don't want it on an empty stomach. He doesn't really eat a whole lot. We walk every day about 30 minutes, but he's just, again, not as mobile as he used to be. But is there any kind of tricks or something to help him, like boost his metabolism or get him to lose weight on certain foods?
You know what? There actually is a new diet that's been, I'll say the name, by Hills, and it's actually called the metabolic diet. And this is kind of exciting because it actually has been fed in pet households outside of research settings and shown over 80% of pets within 2 months lost weight. So it might be something to look at if he needs to lose weight. And if that is an option, that would be one thing I'd get really serious about because you can only increase his exercise so much because he can't tolerate a whole lot. And so that would be something I would certainly talk to your veterinarian about it and see if he's a candidate for that.
Okay.
Well, good luck with everything, Corey, and I give your baby my best wishes because that is a lot to have to deal with at 2 years of age. You got a life to live, so we got to get this baby feeling good.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
Hi, this is Bob Barker on Animal Radio, reminding you to help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. Well, I guess Bigfoot is considered an animal. I mean, he's pretty hairy and he looks kind of like an animal. I don't think any man has a foot as big as Bigfoot's, but we can stick him here in the animal news. An upstate New York man with a fervent belief in Bigfoot is appealing to ban the hunting of the elusive creature in the Empire State. Peter Hans Weimer has written a letter respectfully seeking his assistance in enacting a ban on those attempting to crack down and track and kill Bigfoot. The Mayville man previously failed in his quest to get the Department of Environmental Conservation to enact such a ban. The DEC officials turned down Weimer's request on the grounds that Bigfoot doesn't exist. No, you're kidding. They've got so many TV shows about him, though. Police in Pennsylvania say a dog that was left in an unattended vehicle knocked it into gear, and then the car struck a pedestrian. I want to know if this dog is going to get a ticket. I mean, my dogs get tickets for not being on a leash. This is a dog who's driving recklessly. West York police say the accident happened about 11:30 on a Tuesday morning, and the pedestrian was found lying in the street. The New York Daily Record reports that police say the car had been left running when the dog inside pushed it into drive, causing it to slowly start moving. Police say the pedestrian tried to stop the car before it hit a parked truck, but was unsuccessful and was caught between the two cars. He hit his head. He fell to the ground. He was found unconscious. He was later treated at a hospital for his injuries. Well, if you're a cat owner, you know they are finicky, and having a finicky cat with an appetite is not uncommon. In fact, after going through the frustration of refused meal offerings, untold numbers of kitty guardians will go to extremes, searching for a cat food brand that whets the appetite of the furry family member. Cat guardians wait in anticipation with fingers crossed while kitty sniffs at the food, praying that this new flavor will entice them to chow down with gusto and letting out an audible sigh of relief when the offering is acceptable. Well, due to the great lengths that pet owners go, these cats can be pretty difficult to actually feed. So they did a study, and in this study, the veterinarians found that some cats that behave aggressively at mealtime, they exhibit behaviors like growling and hissing or trying to seize a can of cat food out of the guardian's hand, may also be showing signs of food obsession. Now, since the vets were not able to arrive at any medical condition to explain this behavior, one cat was diagnosed with the first confirmed case of food obsession. Oh, he's probably on Prozac. The veterinarians prescribed a treatment plan which would hopefully remedy the cat's food compulsion. It included prohibiting his guardians from eating in front of them, a regularly scheduled playtime, and also instructing them at other times to ignore him, but to reward him for calm behavior. Well, looks like it worked. The study said they just published this in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior, and it's actually in the books now. Cat food obsession. I'm Stacy Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
Check out Animal Radio highlights, all the good stuff without the blah, blah, blah. Browse on over to animalradio.pet.
Boy, we're really covering the bases today, huh?
Yes, we are.
Fleas, iguanas, flamingos. and cats and dogs. And, of course, right now we turn our head towards the chickens. You know, more and more people are having chickens as pets.
I
in
know.
their backyard.
I heard they make good pets.
They do make
and
good,
you get eggs.
You do get eggs.
I mean, come on.
I don't know if you can get eggs without having one of those noisy roosters, but I'll find out in just a minute here on Animal Radio.
I don't know.
We have an expert joining us who's raised her very own flock of chickens. Is that what you call chickens when they're a flock of chickens?
I guess so. A gaggle,
I believe
flock. Yeah, something.
It's a gaggle of geese.
Okay, gaggle of geese, a flock of chickens.
We welcome Lauren Scheuer to the radio show. Hi, Lauren. How are you doing?
Hi there. I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. So now, do you have any dogs? Let's just get this out in the front right now.
Yes.
You have dogs?
Yes, I have a terrier.
And does that mix with chickens?
No, he didn't at first, and I learned a thing or two, and then my dog and I learned a thing or two together, and we live in backyard harmony now.
Well, now, as Judy's just alluded to, you have chickens as pets. Is that correct?
Yes, and you can call them a flock. Sometimes I call them a herd. You never know. They're different every day.
How many do you have?
I have, at present, I have 4 girls.
Okay.
And to answer your question about eggs, the hens all lay eggs for me, and you don't need a rooster to get eggs.
Oh, you don't?
I guess
you
they
need a rooster to get chicks.
Yeah, to fertilize the eggs.
So how does that happen? Can you tell me the whole birds and bees about chickens? Because I really don't know. So you need a rooster to fertilize prior to the eggs being laid, I take it?
That's right.
Okay.
And but since my hens don't have a rooster around, they lay infertile eggs,
which are much better to eat. I understand.
No.
They're
even if you had a rooster and you collected the eggs, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference taste-wise. And,
really?
Well, if an egg had been sitting in a nest for a while with a nice warm hen on top of it, then you're going to find a little chick in there. But otherwise, the little fertilized speck is so tiny the first day or two, and as soon as you put it into the refrigerator, it doesn't
It's
develop
history.
anymore, you know?
Okay. So you have 4 of these female chickens. And,
I do.
And they are producing eggs for you, which is, a nice little side thing for you, of course.
In the garden, I've got spinach and peas started already, and I've got protein in the nest box. So it's a nice thing to have in the backyard,
Yeah,
you got your own little grocery store.
Now, you are a vegetarian, is that correct?
I am. I wasn't when I first got my hens, and in fact, I really thought I might be able to one day chop their little heads off and throw them in the stew pot. I didn't expect them to be pets. They weren't. They were going to be garden ornaments, lawn ornaments for me, and they were going to, provide some eggs for my family. And I didn't ever expect them to have.
I know what happened. You named them. You gave them names, and from there on out, it was different, right?
Yeah, my daughter caused that problem there. She named them right away.
So they have personalities.
Oh, good heavens. More extreme than any pet I've ever owned.
Really?
And all of their personalities are different, and there's this goofy microcosm out there in the backyard. I've got Hatsy, who was the flock leader. I have Lucy, who is she's closest to the Buddha of anyone I've ever met.
Buddha chicken.
Buddha chicken. And I have an evil Buff Orpington named Little White.
Oh, Satan chicken.
Satan. I love her dearly, but she would kill me if she could.
Ooh, okay. So
she's just a little sociopath. I have no idea why. But
this sounds like a daytime drama here. I'm like, I could tune into this.
It is. It's drama all day in the backyard. All I have to do is pull up a little stool and sit down with my girls, and there's always something happening.
Now, are they related to each other?
No, when I first got my chicks, I chose them by color, thinking, well, what colors would look nice wandering around in my garden. So I have a golden Buff Orpington. I have Lucy is a barred Plymouth Rock. She's black and white speckled and gorgeous. And my other flock members at present are Daisy, the Rhode Island Red, and I have another barred Plymouth Rock named Pigeon.
Oh, are these noisy little guys, girls?
No, they talk like a bunch of old ladies having tea. Just kind of chatting. And they every now and then, on a good morning, one of them will lay an egg and march right outside and tell everybody. So it's a quick little squawking, just out of proud, feeling good. I just laid an egg, by golly, and I want everyone to know.
So they're very social. If you have one, they get pretty lonely?
Yes, they're flock animals. They need to be in a group.
More and more people, even in big cities, are getting chickens not only for the eggs but for pets and companionship. What is required for? Let's say I live in New York City, and that would probably be a place that I would not want to have chickens.
It'd probably be illegal.
Well, if you need a little bit of a backyard, and you need to know what your town or city allows, and if you don't like, if your town or city doesn't allow chickens, then you need to go to town meeting and change that.
Oh, okay, change it. I was going to move, but yeah, I guess change it.
You could move, I guess, but a lot of people just go with they storm town hall and change the rules, and now a whole lot of towns and cities across the country are allowing a certain number of chickens per backyard.
How long do these little guys or girls live?
I'd say 5 to 8 years is a general decent age for a chicken. I know that some live longer. I know that a lot of them don't live that long because there are a lot of creatures out there who like the taste of chicken. So, the neighborhood like dog, the fox, the hawk.
Yeah, that's you've chronicled all of this in Once Upon a Flock, Live with My Soulful Chickens, and it's a great book. I've just started reading it today. So don't give me any spoilers.
It's got some great pictures.
And I'd like to go ahead and give away 10 copies right now. If you've ever thought about getting chickens, or even if you haven't, you just want a good, fun story about somebody who's made chickens as their pets, head on over to your bookstore, pick it up. Once Upon a Flock. Lauren Scheuer is the author, and we'll put all links to everything you've heard on today's show over at animalradio.com. Lauren, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you so much.
Go hug those chickens for us, will you?
I will right now.
Okay.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-705-1198. 800-705-1198. 800-705-1198. That's 800-705-1198.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
This is Fred Willard on Animal Radio. Remember to spay and neuter your animals. I've had it done to me. It's not that rough.
Well, hey there, it's Animal Radio. You found us. This is where we celebrate our connection with your pets. If you have a question for the veterinarian, Dr. Debbie, she's here. Dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer and dog father Joey Villani. We have to say dog father, I don't know. It's in his contract. And animal communicator Joy Turner, all here today. Let's head to the phones, because really you're the most important part of this team. We go to Sheila. Hey, Sheila.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. Where are you calling from?
Actually, I'm calling from New Jersey, but I'm from Massachusetts.
Joyzy. Okay, well, what's going on?
Yes, Sheila. Well, I rescued a cat, my husband and I, and it's probably been about a month now. And the cat is finally warming up to me. However, whenever my husband picks up the cat, she'll roll up into a ball, like as if she's scared that she's going to be beaten. She was a rescue cat. I rescued her, and she has declined. But my question is, will she come around? Will she stop hiding? Will she get off the chair?
What do you mean get off the chair?
She stays on her spot all day long until I come home to feed her. At night, she'll start to warm up to me.
Okay.
And another question was, would it be a good idea to get her a companion?
Okay. Now, you don't have any other pets at this time? Just your husband?
No, just my husband.
He's the only pet, right?
And by the way, we like the earlier joke about the Schnauzer. He told me to tell.
Oh, good, because we got a lot of complaints about the Schnauzer joke.
I thought he was laughing like crazy. So, anyways, back to little kitty cats. We had just lost our cat of 17 years, so I wanted to rescue another cat. So, and the man who worked the adoption agency said this cat would never play. But I gave her some organic, the little green stuff.
Catnip.
The catnip, yes.
Okay.
And it made her play. But when my husband picks up, she just cowers so much. It's scary.
Okay. Well, for some kitties that have kind of either a feral background or, we don't know what their history is, and they're very fearful of a lot of new things, whether that's a person, everything in the household, or, just select things. We really have to proceed cautiously with cats. And the general rule is with cats is you can't treat them like a dog. So to force her into physical contact when it makes her visibly uncomfortable is counterproductive. So that's the first thing. We want her to warm up to situations and to your husband, but we want her to do it on her own terms and to her to feel comfortable. It's the closest equation I can make it to is like, when a kid's learning how to swim and you throw them in the deep end of a pool, more chances than not that it actually freaks them out and they'll not enjoy swimming. So cats are that same way. So that's the first rule is we don't want to force her. Now, if she has more problems with your husband and getting comfortable with him, then I always want to put him into the key point of being the food person in the household so that, maybe you don't give her canned food all that often, but he might be the occasion that you do produce it, or maybe a really yummy treat. And it only comes from your husband. And you just let him do that with no other expectations. You just let him give the food and just let her accept that. He's not going to try to pick her up. He's not going to do anything. He may not even look at her or talk to her at first. That's fine. You just let her get comfortable with that. And then with time, then he can start talking to her. Then who knows? He can put his hand out. She may come closer. But we really have to do that slowly with her own timeline.
So everything with caution.
Exactly.
So she probably will come around, then you're saying you're hoping. Well,
if she's already come around a lot to you, then, it sounds like she's got it in her. She just needs to feel comfortable. Now, the other thing you can try, and a lot of times I do use this when we're trying to work on some behavior issues with cats, is we can use the different types of the odor-free pheromones, basically the scent hormones that help to relax cats in a natural way. And you can get those in little sprays.
Isn't that like Ease? It's like an aerosol and you spray it?
It may be. I'm not familiar with that brand, but it's basically the pheromone that's used is the chin rubbing pheromone. So when you see cats rub their chin on things and they get that goofy grin, that's what they put into these products. So that's what we want to use. It's just kind of a natural way to calm her. Some folks will even use a little bit of dilute lavender oil in the environment, and that is a natural relaxer for pets as well. So that's something. And it sounds like your baby is probably the type I wouldn't really pull out the old drug bag and start using. But there are some cats where we do have to do that, and we'll have to use anti-anxiety medicines or other types of sedatives if they've really got a lot of fear-based problems, or if they take that fear and it progresses to becoming aggressive in unfamiliar situations. So that's why we say hands off and back off a cat. We don't want to get to that point. So, but I think there's definitely hope for your baby.
Oh, my poor baby. She'll be fine. We love her to death. But I thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening.
Well, and we love your show. We listen to it all the way down to Jersey. So thank you very much, and keep up the work and keep up those jokes.
We'll do it. You hear that, Joey? They like the Schnauzer joke. Good. Thank you for calling. Chalk one up for the Schnauzer.
I don't know what the Schnauzer was.
You didn't hear the Schnauzer joke?
No.
You miss all the good parts.
I wasn't offended by it.
I'm making up things in my mind, so now you got to tell me, because I'm imagining different styles of
hairstyle.
But you get the gist of it.
If you missed the joke, here's another good reason to download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Stick around, you lucky dog.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Al Abrams and Judy Francis.
Almost didn't make it in time there. Rushing in, getting my coffee. Got to have my coffee fix.
Coffee.
Let's see. Stacy, who has an iguana taking a dump right now on her. No, that's not that.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
What's up, girlfriend?
Well, if you're single, you've probably heard about speed dating, where you get to go through a group of guys or gals, whoever, depends what you like. And you get to ask them like 3 questions, and you have so many minutes, and then you go to the next person, you ask them questions, and if you like each other, at the end of the thing, you write down who you like, and boom, you get to have a date, and there it is. Well, now they're trying it with dogs in Cumberland, Maryland. You can speed date to find a dog or a cat. I'll tell you about it coming up on Animal Radio News.
Well, that seems neat, but I wouldn't really want to date a dog or a cat.
No, this is to
How difficult
adopt.
is that? Dog smells the other dog's butt and they do it. I mean, it doesn't get any quicker than that as it is. So
It's a beautiful thing.
Hey, Ed, how are you doing?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Very good. What's going on?
I've got a little Cocker Spaniel Shih Tzu mixed dog. She's about 4 years old, and she continues to scratch, and itch, and bite. And she's turning her skin really, really pink.
Okay.
We've tried everything underneath the sun, like bathing her every month, taking her down to the groomer, getting her hair cut all the way down to, shave her down to where she's smooth. And last year we had an epidemic with the fleas because they were so bad up in our area, and we're out of control. But she's got a severe itch problem. We've even put one of those e-collars on them, and you take it back off, and she's right back to biting herself.
Okay. All right. Well, if you've had, and the first thing is, if you've had flea issues in the past, I'm going to ask you to make sure you are addressing that, even if you don't see these guys, because flea allergy dermatitis, it lingers well past when we see the little fleas. So even if you're doing a good job controlling fleas today, you could still have the itch last for up to a month later. So you want to keep up with a product, both that does a quick kill and also one that does a monthly application. So itching dogs, my gosh, this time of year, I am seeing tons of scratching dogs. And one of the big reasons is because we start to have some of the different changes in weather. And at least in my area, there's a lot of different allergic type problems that are triggering itchy dogs. So address those fleas, but then we can try some other remedies for the itchy pet. And some of these are going to require that you go to the vet. So there are some dogs that you can treat at home with colloidal oatmeal baths. And those, not just once a month, but you need to give those at least twice a week because it has a very short relief. It lasts for a few days and then it wears off. And just think of yourself if you ever had chicken pox. Feels good getting out of that Aveeno bath, but it'll go away within just a few days. So you got to repeat that. So you can up the frequency of that. I often will use antihistamines and fatty acids for the mild itching in pets. I kind of wonder if your pet is beyond that now, and that's why it might be in your pet's best interest to see a veterinarian. Because if she's to the point where she is just traumatizing herself, if you take that Elizabethan collar off, she's at a point where she can't control her will, and it's something we really got to get her some help. So for some pets, we might use something like a steroid for a short-term itch relief. And I have dogs, oh my gosh, I have seen this week 3 dogs that come in once a year in the same couple of weeks because they have seasonal allergies. And all they need is an allergy shot. They may need just a short course of a steroid, and it gets them past that hump. And then the rest of the year, they're, mild itching or they're doing good as gold. So, that might be well worth that trip to the veterinarian. I would definitely see about doing that. And then, I'm going to scold you for using an Elizabethan collar for itching. It may help her from self-traumatizing, but it's not getting to the heart of things. So, We can look at doing some other things with diet if it's something that's more long-term or ongoing. So a diet change to a food that's of a different type of component. So it used to be lamb and rice was a kind of unusual protein diet. They're kind of everywhere now. So you might look at getting something that's got more like a venison-based diet or even rabbit-based diet. And then some folks go into the whole grain-free group with those kind of diets.
Our vet suggested getting away from the whole the grains for a while and see if that worked. We've started her on that food, but I haven't really seen the change yet.
And that can take some time. And that's why I urge you to get to the vet, because we want to give this baby some relief before you start getting a lot more established skin problems, because it starts off with the itch and the scratch, and then a lot of dogs will go on to develop skin infections, hair loss, a lot of odor to the skin. So it can really get much worse from where you're at. I definitely get that looked at.
She also has an attitude problem. She hasn't really been totally trained real well because of our, the job that we have. We got her as a pup. They put her on the 18-wheeler with us, and then unfortunately the company changed policies, and so she had to be left at home with our daughter and son-in-law. And she has this attitude problem where you go outside, certain dogs, she thinks she's aggressive and has got to go for that. But other dogs she's fine with. Is there something I can do for that?
Well, Alan, I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up food allergies, because I actually had a person that had that same itching problem, and once the dog started going for it, they found out the dog was allergic to food, and then we had to do some behavior modification. But so is your dog fixed?
Yes, she is. Yeah.
Okay, and she gets aggressive with just certain dogs, big dogs?
Yeah, it seems like the bigger dogs, she just starts getting all hyper and excited. And, I've got her outside, we're walking with the leash, and all of a sudden bigger dogs come along.
When you walk your dog, again, my new expression, it all starts with you. When you walk your dog, is your dog in front of you, on your side, behind you? Where is your dog?
We got one of those retractable leashes, so I just kind of just let her,
She's in front, right?
Yeah.
All right, so if your dog is in front of you, who do you think's in charge?
She would be.
That's right. The first thing, to realize when you are a dog owner and when you're walking a dog walk, there's nothing more important than a dog walk. There's nothing more rewarding than a dog walk between you and your dog. And when you walk your dog, the important thing is to make your dog earn freedom. Okay? So if you're going to let your dog walk in front of you, it has to be with your permission. Or if you're going to let your dog off a leash, it has to be with your permission. It has to be earned. So your dog has to learn to walk by your side calmly for a period of time. And you just lose yourself in each other. You're just walking, lost in your thoughts. Your dog's walking, lost in his thoughts. There's no emotion. There's no fear. There's no inhibitions. You're not thinking at all. You're just experiencing. You're living in the moment. And that's what dogs do. Dogs live in the moment. They don't think about the past, and they don't think about the future, and that's what's so cool about them. That's why it's easy to help them when they're afraid of things or when they have aggression problems. So as soon as you establish that you are in charge, that you're a calm, assertive leader, when your dog makes a move to get aggressive, when you see your dog slipping into that state of mind, you got to make a correction immediately. And a correction is a flick of the wrist and, hey, just diverting your dog's mind. It's like a tap in the shoulder, or suddenly walking the opposite direction very fast so that your dog gets a jolt by the leash. You make a correction, and it teaches your dog, hey, I'm not cool with that behavior. I don't like it. You're not going to be able to be doing that anymore. And over time, your dog will learn to understand that you are in charge, that your dog is nothing to be afraid of, because usually when dogs react that way, it's out of fear. They're afraid of the other dog, and most dogs feel that a good defense is a strong offense because it works a lot of times. You'll see small dogs, very nervous dogs, they get real yippy when a big dog comes by, and usually a calm big dog will turn around and walk away and leave the dog alone. So the more it works, the more the dog will do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm understanding.
So you got to learn to properly walk your dog on a leash, enter the house first, leave the house first, make your dog wait for food before you put it down, walk by the side of your dog, and then practice walking towards big dogs. As soon as your dog starts to exhibit that behavior where he starts to get into that aggressive mode, turn around and walk very quickly the opposite way and make a sound. Hey, cut it out. It'll change his mind instantly, change his mindset, and then turn around and walk towards the big dog again and do it over and over and over again until your dog starts to see that you are the leader, that you are in charge, and that you don't want that behavior. Okay. And then reward your dog for the proper good behavior. When your dog walks by a big dog with you at the side and there's no response, you go, good dog. Okay?
All right.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
With the Shih Tzu Cocker Spaniel breed, because we got her as a pup, and then with all this itching going on.
Well, if you feel sorry for your dog, which a lot of people do, your dog's got that skin condition going on, your dog knows that. That's weakness. See, when human beings act like human beings, dogs don't see it the way human beings see it. Like when you feel sorry for your dog interprets that as weakness, not as you feeling sorry. Your dog doesn't know that you feel sorry for him for having an itch problem. Your dog just knows that you're acting like a weak dog and not a strong dog. And when a dog sees that, a dog has to move in a position of leadership. He has no choice but to become the leader when you're weak.
And I'd have to say that, I can kind of see where you're going with that. Your dog being itchy and uncomfortable might make him a little bit more irritable, but it doesn't explain an aggressive bout in those situations. He might just be feeling a little crabby around the house and things like that. So I would definitely make him feel better with his skin and then, work on these behavior things.
Yeah, if he was going after small dogs and big dogs, Deb, it would make so much sense that, because when a dog is in pain or a dog is not feeling well, they sometimes get aggressive. That's, one of the ways they communicate. But if your dog is only becoming aggressive around bigger dogs, that's probably fear-based, anxiety-based. And so you've got to change that. The only way to change that is you have to be calm yourself. You have to imagine walking past the big dog and nothing happens. People say seeing is believing, but with dogs, believing is seeing. When you believe, you will see the outcome that you believe.
I'll definitely start giving that a try when we get home. She really is irritated, like I said. And then, once we take her outside, she sees those big dogs, it's like, oh man, here we go.
You see what you just said? Here we go. You're anticipating the behavior before it happens, so the behavior will happen. It's all in you, my friend. It's what you think inside when you approach that big dog, how you're going to react, how tense your body gets. If you see in your mind, hey, I'm just going to walk past this big dog, and if she reacts aggressively, I'm going to make a correction immediately. You're taking charge. You're being a leader. So the best technique is the one I gave you. You walk towards the big dog. As soon as your dog starts to shift over into that behavior, you turn around very quickly and walk the opposite way with the leash glued to your chest so your dog gets a big jolt. And you do it over and over and over again until you start to believe. And when you start to believe, you'll be able to walk past big dogs. Nothing will happen.
I believe. You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Do you have an old car sitting around your house? Maybe you're even paying insurance on it. Well, if you don't need that car anymore, donate it, running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. They will even come and pick it up for free and give you a receipt for a tax donation. Breast cancer screening could save the life of someone you love. And right now, they need your help. They want to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And that's what your old car helps to pay for. So get your phone out and call right now to donate your car to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. Remember, they will come pick it up for free and give you a tax donation receipt. Call right now.
800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. That's 800-793-4880.
Hey, this is Paula Poundstone. Wait, I forget where I am.
Animal Radio.
Animal Radio. I love that. All right. Hey, this is Paula Poundstone on Animal Radio. Spay and neuter your pets or we're going to be eaten alive.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Are you up for taking a call there, Alan?
I'm always up. I love helping folks.
Okay, well, let's go to line 4. We have Mark on the phone. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hey, really good. How about you guys today?
Well, we're very upset about this whole flea circus thing. All these, I don't know if you just tuned in, the entire flea circus succumbing to the cold weather in Germany, and the circus not called off. They've actually found fleas to replace the expired fleas, and they've trained them, and the circus will go on. Other than that, Mark, how are you doing?
Now I'm a little itchy after this conversation. And, you guys are pretty powerful through the radio there, and you got me scratching more than I wished to.
Hey. Do you have dogs?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. And my question is about my dogs, not necessarily me and my flea problem. But, I travel a lot. And, so I guess I'm kind of curious, when you're at home, the dogs will lay by a window or lay on the furniture, and get themselves a lot of sun. I'm just, for some reason, my dogs just love to, I'm in a big RV, and the dogs love to lay on the dashboard of the RV, and they're just baking in the sun, and I'm like, your brain is going to cook. Should I, stop them from doing this, or, do they know their own bodies? What's the deal?
That's awesome,
Don't
buddy.
laugh at our listeners.
Hey,
awesome.
I got to interrupt for a second because I'm going to say the health implication of these dogs getting a lot of sun, definitely we can see some potential issues with sunburn, or in light colored dogs and cats, they can actually get types of cancers from repeated sun exposure. So you do have to watch that and be kind of vigilant when it comes to the sun exposure aspect of things.
Okay, so, and I was being serious about the question because I've heard, and I don't know if it's just an old farmer's tale or something, but they say, little dogs, if you let them lay around in the sun, that promotes cataract or faster cataract growth, or it's bad for their eyes. I don't know. Is that true?
Not so much with the cataracts, but it's going to be mostly with the skin dangers. And it's no different than, if you had a kid who is laying out and sun tanning all the time. And so many dogs like to spread eagle and lay with their belly exposed. And there's not always a lot of hair or pigment down there. So they can actually get sunburn and even get into skin cancers like squamous cell carcinoma. So, really, if your dog is lightly colored or a white dog like Dalmatians, white pit bulls in particular have problems, white cats that have pink ears and pink nose, they are prone to these type of things. So you do want to limit their sun exposure during the peak times of the day. If they get a lot of sun, in the yard, some folks will even use some baby-safe sunscreens that you can put on in those prime areas where they have problems. So sorry, Alan, I just jumped in.
I wasn't. No, it's a you question more than me. I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the flea comment. Just made me crack up. But yeah, as Dr. Debbie's, you got to protect dogs from themselves. A lot of dogs, they'll lay in the shade when it's too hot, but dogs will do a lot of things to hurt themselves because they're just not smart. So yeah, you got to protect them from themselves. You do, and she's right. Don't let them lay in the sun too much. And normally a dog, if he gets hot, he's just going to get up and move himself, or he'll go get some water. But I have no idea why they would be laying there for prolonged periods of time.
Mark, what color are your dogs?
Actually, they're black, and that's why I said I look at them, and they're miniature pinchers, and I go, your brain is going to bake right inside of your skull. They're so hot.
Well, hey, and I got to say the other safety thing that we got to address here is that if they're riding on the dashboard, those babies are not safely secured while you're driving. So you need to get them into a seatbelt. Get them somewhere safe in the car.
Okay, well, all right. I spend a lot of time not driving. You ever been through Los Angeles? Okay.
Parking lot.
You don't drive on the freeway there. You sit around a lot.
Thank you for your call, Mark. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that's wild. That's a Dr. Debbie question, not for me. That's weird, though, because dogs usually know when they're... my dog will not lay in the sun. He just goes right in the shade.
Hey, it's Vinny Penn, your resident party animal, coming at you again on Animal Radio. I wanted to bring something up to you. This could draw the ire of some of you Animal Radio listeners, but sometimes I do like to push your buttons. I think you know that by now. I was at a raging party last night. Just a great, great time. And at one point, everybody was having a great time, and it was a group of people who don't get together very often. And at one point, one of our old friends of ours, she said, well, it's time for me to go. I got to let the dog out. You know how it is. Got to get home and let the dog out. And we're just thinking, I had 2 dogs in my life. I never had to leave somewhere to let the dog out. We don't want to persecute the dogs, but then again, none of us are going to 12-hour-long parties either. This party was roughly going to be 4 to 5 hours. From my recollection of my 2 dogs, Rocky and Cruiser, Rocky, of course, being short for rock and roll, we were pretty much on the same bowel movement schedule. dare I say, when it comes to me and my dogs. So I'm starting to think, we looked at each other after she left, and my buddy Tommy and I were like, that's the out. That's a dog owner's, I got to wash my hair out. That's her way of saying, okay, this party sucks. You guys are getting drunk and stupid as usual. Oh, the dog. I got to let the dog out. Poor thing. Home alone. Leaving a party to, quote unquote, let the dog out is the dog owner's equivalent of, I just don't think of you that way. Vinny Ped, Party Animal on Animal Radio.
Hi, Joanne Worley on Animal Radio. Hello! And please spay and neuter your pets. Spay and neuter your friends' pets also. Give it to them as a present. What a good idea.
I would love to go on vacation, but I don't want to leave our Charlie behind.
I agree. I heard that the magazine Fido Friendly lists places where you can stay with your pet. They also offer reviews so you have an idea about pet policy to include any restrictions, fees, and what pet amenities to expect.
That's, dare I say, awesome. What are we waiting for?
I'm way ahead of you. I just logged on to FidoFriendly.com and found a 4-star resort. Hilton Santa Fe Resort and Spa at Buffalo Thunder in New Mexico.
Charlie agrees. When do we leave?
As soon as you can pack your bags. It's off to adventure with Charlie, thanks to Fido Friendly Magazine. To find your next family adventure that includes your furry family friend, log on to FidoFriendly.com.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. There's a Florida man who gets credit for quick thinking, I guess, give him credit, after a cage dog bit his 11-year-old's finger off. According to a police news release, this kid stuck his hand through slots in the cage he was trying to pet the dog. Well, the animal bit him, and it severed his pinky finger. The boy's father immediately pulled the dog from the cage, and then he shot the dog, cut into the dog's stomach, retrieving the finger while waiting for paramedics to arrive. Oh, I can't even believe the guy, he must have been a hunter. The boy was hospitalized in St. Petersburg, where doctors have indicated damage to the finger was too severe for reattachment. So he killed this dog for no reason whatsoever. I mean, I feel bad for the kid that he lost his finger, but he shouldn't have been sticking his finger in the cage. And the dad should have said, don't put your finger in there, instead of killing the dog and then trying to pull the finger out of his stomach. Are you serious? I can't even believe that. People. A Warwick, Rhode Island woman won't have to pay for her cockatoo's foul language. You know, we talked about this about a year ago. Rhode Island's WJR-TV reports that police have dropped a citation against Lynn Taylor, whose cockatoo reportedly used profanity directed at her neighbor. Police gave Taylor a $15 citation last year after the neighbor's repeated complaints. Well, Taylor decided to fight the fine and took her case to a Providence Superior Court. Authorities say they dropped the charge because it would be a waste of city resources to enforce the relatively small fine. Just to piss that neighbor off. That's why she did that. Oh, dating these days, it's gone to the dogs. At least it did one night at the Cumberland County SPCA's first ever pet speed dating event. There's different ways to date, and this is kind of creative. The shelter designed the event to give the pet-loving public a simple way to get up close and personal with many of their dogs and cats that are available for adoption. Much like speed dating events for humans, visitors spent the evening getting to know various animals during 5-minute intervals while they cycled through different stations set up throughout the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Shelter. During those short sessions, potential owners had the chance to connect with their possible future pets without bars of a kennel between them. Employees and volunteers were also on hand at each station so they could introduce the animal and then answer any questions that the applicants may have about the pet. It's a fun and easy way to get some animals adopted, and it's a little more user-friendly than walking into the kennel. The event drew great interest, delivered 4 adoptions with 3 dogs and 1 cat finding homes. I'm Stacy Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
Hey, this is Big Ant from Rescue Inc. Remember, spay and neuter your animal, and abusers are losers. Now back to Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Little Judith doing a nice dance there.
That
Really,
music
you were
just
quite
gets
a
me
dancer.
going.
It does get you going. I see you were dancing with Ladybug, the studio stunt dog. She's a very talented dog.
You know, she has a whole set of tricks that she does until somebody's watching.
We need Dancing with the Stars for dogs.
Yeah. You know, I took her to a little talent show because she does all these tricks, and we were out there in front of everybody, and she just stood there and looked at me.
Oh, how humiliating.
Oh, I was.
Did you have to sneak out of that place?
Yeah. Yeah.
My dog is incredible.
Get the hook.
I'll show you a trick right now. Rudy, don't sit. Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Boy, Rudy really is responsive. I got to tell you.
I'm telling you.
How about you, Joey? Do you have any animals that are talented? I mean, does Miles do any tricks? Do the birds do anything?
No, the bird.
Brother-in-laws?
Yeah, the bird will lay on her back and not move if you tell her to. The bird will dance if you tell her. The bird is the smartest one, smarter than my wife and me in the house. So,
running things over
and
there.
it's funny. It's the only bird that I know. If you call her by name, she'll come running over to you.
Oh, cute.
Wow,
That's cute.
that is cute.
Yeah.
Let's go to, how about this one? We have BJ for Joy. Hi, BJ. How are you doing?
Hey, pretty good.
So what's going on?
Well, my son lost his best buddy.
Oh.
Wolfgang finally just couldn't hang on, and they had to put him down.
Okay, and tell me, this is a dog, I'm assuming?
Yes.
And what's his name?
You talked to Wolfgang here last fall when he was having a bad spell. And you told me he said that he would hang on for as long as they needed and they would know what was best. Well, it got to the point he just couldn't hang on anymore. But my son is having a hard time. When he went, the ground was frozen. My son was very adamant about burying him. Now he don't know. My daughter-in-law cremated Wolfgang's body. And I tried to tell him it's only the physical. That what made Wolfgang is over on the Rainbow Bridge. Is Wolfgang all right with what happened?
Oh, he is so overjoyed at everything that went on. He feels like he was listened to. He feels like he was loved more than he could have ever hoped to have been loved. And he is very, very pleased with the way things went. He really wants you to tell his dad that it didn't matter. He understood, because you just can't make the ground be something it's not. And he said he could always put the ashes in the ground once it gets better. So he's not having any issue at all about it. He thinks that it was what needed to happen, so everything is perfect for him.
Well, now the dilemma, my son doesn't know whether to put the ashes to the wind, because Wolfgang was such a free spirit.
He would like to have a little bit of everything, because he thinks he was a dog that was a little bit of everything. And so he loves the wind, he loves the earth, and he loves his home. So he thinks all of those places would be magnificent.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
When Smelly the cat went missing, owners Denise and Paul Bailey were heartbroken. They posted a $2,000 reward for Smelly's return on more than 250 flyers and waited. They received a lot of false alarms from people who found cats that fit Smelly's description, but none were smelly. Or at least none were their Smelly. 8 days later, Aaron Cooper, a cat lover who had just been laid off from his job, was taking out his trash when he saw a cat he thought might be that missing cat sitting by the dumpster. He called to him and Smelly came right over. Smelly and his owners were reunited, and Cooper was united with a $2,000 reward. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
A few weeks ago, you turned me on to this AI dog hotline, which is really cool.
I know, I had to call it for my dog.
I wish I could find out why Meatball has been chasing the cats. Let's call the hotline and talk to Meatball.
Good thinking.
This is an AI hotline, and what that means is that you're going to actually have a conversation with, let's just say, your dog or any AI agent for that matter.
And you can ask them questions?
Ask them questions, and they'll respond with whatever knowledge they know through AI. Now, I can't explain how AI works, but I can tell you the AI dog hotline is a lot of fun. So we're going to call for Meatball.
What kind of dog is Meatball?
He's a bulldog. And taking a hint from our last conversations with dogs the last week and the week prior, I'm going to try to throw him off this time. And we'll see how AI reacts. Now, I just want to tell you before we call the hotline, this is Regal.ai that builds these AI agents. They do it for businesses all across the country. And we're heading over to the website, which is regal.ai/dog. That's Regal, REGAL.ai/dog.
And you can also try out any of the 15 breeds for yourself on their hotline for free.
How much is that?
Free. It's our favorite price.
So we're heading over to Regal.ai. Meatball's at Bulldog, so we're scrolling down to Bulldog. Here goes.
This call will be recorded.
Oh, you recorded, eh? Blimey, that's a bit posh. Just don't go put me on some fancy podcast or nothing. Anyway, let's sort this out. What's the name you call me?
Wait a second. You don't know your own name?
Names, who needs them anyway? Back in my day, we got by just fine without all this formal nonsense. More important question, what's on the menu for today?
Well, tacos tonight. It's always tacos tonight.
Tacos, eh? Sounds a bit fancy for a bulldog like me. Back in my day, we had a proper roast or a good pie. But I reckon a taco could do the trick any chance of a little taste for me.
Of course.
Aha. Now we're talking. Strictly for quality control, of course. So, what's all this fuss about Taco Tuesday? Is it just an excuse for a party or something?
Around here, it's tacos every day.
Every day, you say? Blimey, that's living the dream. I could get used to that tacos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Sure, can you go fetch my slippers?
Fetch your slippers? Now that's a right laugh. I'll give it a go, but I can't promise I won't just plop down on them instead. Slippers are just begging for a bulldog's bum, innit? Anyway, I reckon I've been talking your ear off. Don't forget our little taco plan, eh? Cheers, mate.
I did not realize Meatball was that smart.
He doesn't look it, does he? Who knew?
If you want to talk to your dog, head on over to regal.ai/dog. Or if you don't have a doggy, but you want to talk to a dog, regal.ai/dog.
Just pick a dog, any dog.
And as Judy said, it's free. And let me throw in a little plug for AI. Regal.ai. They build AI agents just like the dog you heard for all kinds of businesses. And if you want to learn more, you can head on over to regal.ai. But definitely try out the 15 dog breed hotlines for yourself. Free of charge. Regal.ai/dog.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
Hi, this is Doug Ray of the Marshall Tucker Band, and forever you'll always be listening to Animal Radio. Keep loving those pets.
What's up, everybody? My name is George Lopez. I don't know how I became a crazy dog person, but I rescued Chihuahuas. Yeah, they rescued me from probably getting remarried. Come on. You know, these dogs are incredibly helpful to all of our lives, and I think that's what it's all about. I'm glad they can't talk, though, because I don't need to have anybody know how many times I come down in the middle of the night for something to eat.
Please, always adopt dogs. Never buy them. And always spay or neuter.
Oh, what did he say? He said, we're all across the USA, the most listened to pet show today. Animal Radio, we're everywhere you go. Animal Radio. Animal Radio.
Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Dog trainer Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani, and animal communicator Joey Turner all here for you. Let's head back on over to the phones right now. We got Chuck. Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
Reading, Pennsylvania.
Love it. Listening on WEEU, I assume.
Yes, we do.
Great station. You guys love your pets there. Everybody there seems to be so into their pets. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely.
So what's going on with yours?
Well, we have an old English sheepdog. She's approximately 12 and a half years old.
Mm-hmm.
She's about 85, 90 pounds. Everything about her is great except her back hips. They're, I believe they're slowly deteriorating. Their legs go sideways everywhere, but it's the way they're supposed to. And they're weak. But yet, if we lift her, she can walk and do her stuff and everything like that. And we do have her on tri-buffered aspirin, 1 in the morning, afternoon, and night. And then we have her on, I believe it's pronounced Cosequin, Cosequin. D as in David, S as in Sam, plus MSM, 2 tablets each morning. And we're just wondering if, we understand their age and et cetera. Just wondering if there's any other things we could be doing or medications we could be giving her, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Now, I will tell you that aspirin isn't my favorite for dogs just because it has been shown pretty much even at normal everyday doses to cause little ulcers in the stomach, even if a pet doesn't get sick from it. So there are some good prescription products that I would substitute for that just because they have less tendency for some of that tummy upset issues. But besides that, definitely there's some things I would look at doing. Number one would be I would look at getting your baby on a fatty acid supplement, because supplementing fatty acids or fish oils at higher doses actually has anti-inflammatory properties. So this is a nice natural thing that you can do. I do like to look at the dosage of the fish oils, not just the total, how many grams of fish oil. So different kinds of fish have different kinds of quantities of the different fatty acids. So you might talk to your veterinarian, but we do base this off of the components, the EPA and the DHA that are in the fish oil. And that's how we kind of calculate the dosage. So you want to be a little bit more scientific than just throwing a, fish oil tablet at you. But I would imagine about 1,000, almost 2,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA a day would be appropriate for your dog. So definitely, I would add that in without a heartbeat. And then the next thing that I would look at with just that kind of medication choice, it would be maybe looking at something else that's a well-tolerated pain reliever in older pets. And I have a almost 14-year-old Labrador that we're dealing with a lot of mobility issues, and she's on a couple medicines that can be helpful on top of what you're already doing. And one of them is a drug called Tramadol. And it's a pain medicine, and it's in the opioid type family, but kind of on the lower end, so we don't really get gorped out dogs on this medicine. And that's one thing that you can add in a couple times a day, and that can add another kind of boost into her comfort. Or in place of that, we can even use gabapentin, which for people is actually commonly used for seizures and for some other types of pain disorders. So that's another alternative that we can do.
What was the second one again, please?
It's called gabapentin. And both of those are, like I said, pretty well tolerated, low side effects, and you can add them into your regimen that you're doing already. So I would definitely look at doing that. And, and then I always say keeping the baby in good weight always goes a long way, just to make sure that, she's got her mobility and we're not making it harder for her to get around.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you've got her at 12 years of age. So I think you've done a lot for her to get to that point. And the reality is with a lot of the sheepdogs is that, yes, they do have problems with the hips, but they can even have problems with their lower spine. So some of the spinal issues may not be necessarily pain responsive type things. But still, I would give all of this a good try, and then really just be watchful for, her mobility, her ability to do her daily things, potty in, getting around. But it sounds like you've got a good start, and you can add a few things in.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, and you have a wonderful day.
Thanks for calling, Chuck. Well, that's all we have time for today. I want to remind you, because we've had a lot of phone calls today, people going, what was the Schnauzer joke? I missed the Schnauzer joke. Or what happened with the flea circus? We didn't get the whole story. Well, you can listen to the show again or catch past shows by heading on over to animalradio.com or downloading the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. And you can ask all your questions about your pets right from that application. So download it right now from your iPhone App Store or your Google Android thingamajiggy. I'm sorry, I'm not an Android guy. I don't know what they call that.
It's a phone.
There you go. We'll catch you next week for more Animal Radio right here on this fine station. Have a great week.
Bye.
I love you guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Always adopt, don't declaw.
is Animal Radio
Network.